Hey, you the maintenance man?
When I read The Karate Kid for the first time, I remember it was right before I was going to audition to meet John Avildsen, our great director.
1984, let me hop in my time capsule.
I received the call, you've got to show up on the set Tuesday, and I got the script on a Monday, and the casting woman said it's now or never.
Man who catch fly with chopstick accomplish anything.
I was pretty excited with the opportunity to audition. We read a bunch of scenes together, and we just kept doing it. We ad-libbed. I just kind of felt then and feels even today that I was just the right kid at the right time. And the other thing was I better get into some karate lessons quick if I'm gonna be able to pull this off.
It was an incredible screenplay and a great story. And as I was turning the pages, I'm like, wait, this guy's a black belt and he's a motorcycle gang leader. Like, I'm not this guy, you know? So I was thrilled by the screenplay. But the chances that I thought I would get the part were pretty small.
You read a script like this, and you see how perfect it is, and it's as good as The Searchers and Casablanca and all these other classic movies that come along.
No, defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it?
It's 35 years, and we're still saying wax on, wax off, and no mercy. You never thought it was going to evolve into this, the gift that keeps giving, you know?
Daniel Laruso appealed to me because he had more guts than I ever had. He's the essence of, a lot of myself is in that character. But here's the biggest difference. If I was beat up my first day in a new town, I probably wouldn't go back for more. Laruso had that kind of, he was not gonna back down, and he acted first and thought later sometimes. I'm a little bit more analytical than he is, but his movie made for a better story than maybe mine would have.
Karate.
Yeah.
What's so beautiful about this script is how Miyagi uses his own unorthodox ways in training Daniel as a young martial arts student, but also teaching him those life lessons through that training. And this is stuff that even I, Ralph, use today in life in balancing my own family and work and everyday trials and tribulations of getting through. I would say the themes, besides the main theme of bullying, and it's always relevant, so I think that's part of why the film still resonates. Fish out of water, coming of age, mentor student, those are themes and elements of the film that were strong in the script and strong when we were making it and still resonate today.
Universally, it's a theme of the underdog. It's the theme of, you can conquer your enemies. Everybody would love to have a Yoda-type person in their life to come and give them the secrets of the universe to conquer everything. The character of Daniel Laruso, he's the every kid, As Ralph always says, he had no business winning anything. So it gives hope, I think, and I think everybody's searching for hope, and the film serves that no matter how many times you watch it.
Well, he was terrific. My final audition was with Pat, and we did that scene in the dojo where, he wants to go fight, and he visits me in the dojo with Ralph.
But you don't show. And it's open season. On him. And you.
And that whole scene came alive because he's so good, and he's such a giving actor.
When I read the screenplay, I always imagined, why does Sensei have such an influence on Johnny? And there are no mention of Johnny's parents in the film, so I immediately figured that he didn't have a father. So Sensei Kreese, in a sense, was a father figure to him.
Billy and the Cobra Kai were trained separately than Ralph and Miyagi, and I was trained separately than both factions, because John didn't want us to get friendly. He wanted to keep that drill sergeant student aspect going all the time. I was the sensei and they were the student, and they were the Cobra Kai, and they loved owning that, which was great.
The influence that Kreese has on Johnny is subconscious, I think. It's in his hardwire, and but there's still the Johnny in him that's kicking to do right, and that's really shown in the final moment when Kreese says, "Sweep the leg," and Johnny starts to wait. What have you been programming me for, and who are you, and who am I? this kind of moment of questioning and searching, you know.
No mercy.
So Billy and I, over time, became closer and closer friends than at the onset of when we started working on the film. When we first met, he was always the guy that was just beating the hell out of me as Daniel Laruso. So we didn't necessarily befriend each other in the early stages. I had all the rehearsal scenes with, say, Randy Heller as my mom, certainly most of my scenes with Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi. And anytime I was with the Cobra Kai guys, it was to get my butt kicked.
Ralph was he's just a great guy, you know. And our relationship was, we could have been buddies, I think, if we met in a different context, but that we were pitted against each other. You know, we were kind of separated. John Avildsen had us not spend too much time together.
There were very few scenes we had that weren't about bully and victim. So anytime we were together, we basically rehearsed fight scenes.
It was like choreographing a dance, and you know, but it was in fighting, and we had to trust each other, and you know, I didn't know any karate, he didn't know any karate, so we both grew together, learned together, and it's like a partnership, although we were on opposite ends of the tracks.
It's interesting over the years and the life of the Karate Kid and what it's become, and into the Cobra Kai series, how that has forged a friendship and a relationship that we go back and talk about those times at the onset.
Daniel-san! Daniel-san!
What?
Come here.
It's tough to pick one scene from the original Karate Kid that's my favorite. I would say I'll break it down to two. There are many. But two of my favorites are the payoff scene when Daniel learns of all the chores that he's doing, and Miyagi says, "Show me, wax on, show me." And because I'll never forget how much we rehearsed that.
Show me wax on, wax off. That!
It felt important. It felt it had breath and weight to it. And, you know, it pays off with a big roar from the crowd. It's a beautiful scene. My other favorite scene is after when Daniel puts Mr. Miyagi, after he's talking about World War II and losing his wife and child, in a very dramatic scene and a brilliant performance by Pat Morita. And Daniel puts him down, puts him to bed, and learns about his Medal of Honor. And when Daniel leaves that scene, director John Avildsen instructed me to turn and bow. It was never in the script. And he bows to him. No one's around, so there's no witnesses. He doesn't need to bow to him. He just chooses to, and it sets us off into this montage where he's inspired to train himself. But you get that little thing in your throat, and it's really kind of wonderful and magical. So those are two of my favorites.
All right, what are the rules here?
The tournament, that was when it really came alive, and we had all the fans in the audience, extras, you know, and there was, you know, real people in there, and they didn't know we weren't real black belts or whatever, you know, and we're around kicking, and to be in that stage, it just fed this adrenaline in this moment that happened that was captured by John Avildsen through 9 cameras hidden in the bleachers shooting a long lens across the way. And it wasn't cameras in your face, it was like this event that happened. And my family was there, my folks, and you know, I remember after a scene where I injured Daniel and they tell me to go kneel down on the mat.
Come on, Daniel.
And the whole crowd starts booing me, you know. And I was feeding on it, and I look up and there's my mom, and she's like this. And she's like, "That's my boy," you know. I'm like, "It's okay, Mom, it's all good." But the emotion of that was very fulfilling, to have gone through the months of training, rehearsals, practice, you know, and to get to that moment and actually like execute it and to feel it and live it. I've never experienced anything like that.
There's so many great lines from the film. Man who catch fly with chopstick, accomplish anything. J.C. Penney, $3.98 for the belt. All the Cobra Kai guys had all the great lines. They get him a body bag, sweep the leg. There's tons of those. I love all of them. But I think my personal favorite, and it's as pure as it gets because it's as simple as it gets, it's the moment where Miyagi gives Daniel the yellow 47 Ford convertible for his birthday, and Laruso gets in the car and he sits there and Miyagi talks to him about lesson for whole life, the license never replace eye, ear, and brain, all that stuff. And the kid just turns to him and says,
"You're the best friend I ever had."
Are you pretty okay too?
It's what separates the movie and gives it that special heart and soul.
Banzai, Danielson!
Hey, Banzai!
Banzai!
Banzai!